Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Hey guys. Oh my gosh, I just hate it when the camera stops working. There we go. Well, let's look here. Yesterday was a pretty consolidated range, and now today, and in the overnight range, pretty consolidated. Wow. I don't think I've ever seen it this bad. I'm looking at this and I'm like, how did I make money yesterday? It's pretty bad. So yeah, I don't think we're going to be doing any trading today. I feel okay. Yeah, I didn't get to sleep quite as early as I wanted to, but it's okay. I still feel pretty like awake at the moment, at least. We'll be watching to see if a trend develops. I mean, there's always a possibility of news and stuff. And we're definitely going to be watching closely today, because even if we're not taking a trade, we want to try and identify areas where we're turning around. But man, this is just not action conducive to trading at all. At all. It's so bad. So bad. Okay, so let's, copy and stuff and everything. Here you go. There's that link. So I'm sure everybody's waiting for the CPI data. So let's talk about something interesting instead. Bitcoin had another little run yesterday. So keep in mind, here was this, and then there was this. I kind of thought, okay, this is okay, but then, well, so a funny thing, two funny things happened yesterday. So the first funny thing that happened yesterday was like, they were saying that there was supposed to be an SEC meeting about the Bitcoins. And later on in the day, they all came out and they're like, there's no meeting, there's nothing on the books, and we haven't heard anything, and you're all waiting for something that's not going to happen. And now, of course, they said that it was like an internal, it was an internal meeting, was the explanation that I got out of that. But I mean, man, come on. So here you have, I mean, basically fake news. People were trading off of something that didn't matter or was fake. And then, another thing that I saw, well, so that was what this move was right here, okay? So then the other thing that happens, I send this stuff over to my father, and, I've been telling him, like, oh, we got this, the indicator works pretty good, and I'll tell you when it's ready to buy. So I've got him all ready. And so he'll always send me stories that are like contrary to what my indicator is saying. So here he has like 3 things that could lift Bitcoin prices to new highs. Virgin Galactic and other top companies accepting cryptocurrencies, etc., etc. And I kind of said to him this morning, it's like, have you noticed that the headlines always tend to contradict what my indicator says? That is not a coincidence, folks. Not a coincidence. I like, who was this that said this in the channel? Oh, the finite idea. You've got to love the mainstream media narrative fitting the voice of pigs. Yes, I like to call them hogs, but yes, that's exactly what this is. And yes, this dump was pretty big. So let's look at it from a further out perspective. We got a couple of you on here, yeah. Only a few. Hey, and hello to everybody in Twitch. And you gotta click this one. Okay, so if I put it on a 6-hour basis, so here you can see, here was our initial move that we sold, okay? And then it kind of ranged around here, and I thought maybe it was gonna finally break here. And then they tried to make a push, and depending on which exchange you look at, they did make it. So here's, and this is Binance, I don't know why I'm looking at Binance. Here's GDAX. So you notice on GDAX they came just short of it. There was icebergs right there stopping it. And now we are just below the breakout price here. If we get below this one right here, and then definitely, I mean, you've got a couple of these things, but every time that you see one of these big candles, look for it to for them to push what we would call single prints, right? So these are spots on the chart that have only been touched once. Okay, so there's one right there. Notice how that's about where they stopped at. So there's some down here at around 8,500, and then we get some like around here, right, at 7,500. So those are your targets. That's what I'd be looking at. And then there's a pretty good dump. So I think we're going to get what we saw yesterday. We need the cumulative delta to come down a little bit more. I mean, we can build some volume down here. This is going to come down, and maybe we bounce. At any time that I see this right here, it's, you know, trying to make a comeback, that's bad. Bad news. Yep, what are we seeing in the bonds channel? Hi, Hockney. Really is like a shit range. What is it? 8 ticks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 ticks. Yesterday was 10 ticks. Today is 9 ticks. It's a bad range. It's a bad area to trade. Yeah. Forrest says, I thought yesterday's range sucked, but it looks like today's range is even worse. So I really don't want to trade this. I'm gonna be like super off topic today. We are stuck in this range around 20.5. Still gonna mark this as an interest area for sure. We do have our little tape up here, so you can see they are buying at the moment. So they're trying to recover. That dump was a little overdone, so I think that they're probably going to recover a little bit. Oh, Donald Trump. John Kerry can't get over the fact that he had his chance and blew it. Stay away from negotiations, John. You are hurting your country. Also, have you been following this thing into Eric Schneiderman? I was like, I found this really interesting because so it comes out late yesterday that he's been that he's not a good guy. Oh, a politician's not a good guy. I'm so surprised. But specifically, they were accusing him of physical abuse of his girlfriends and stuff. So I thought, okay, well, that's interesting, but let's see if they confirm it. Kind of seems to me that when it's been Democrats lately, they've confirmed it, hasn't it? But let's see what he did. Let's see how bad it is. And then he immediately resigned. Was like, wow, okay, like, you know he's in a bad spot. He doesn't even want to fight it. Then, you know, this guy really must have done something stupid. And then, like, the first story that came out was about him being physically abusive to his girlfriend, and saying very racist things to her. I was really not prepared for what was going to come out, because that was shockingly bad in my opinion. And now people are even insinuating that this guy, the sitting attorney general of New York, was actually involved in child trafficking, which I'm deeply skeptical of, but you know, we'll see. Crazy times we live in here, isn't it? Bum, 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 ba-dum. Okay, well, I didn't get ready as quickly as yesterday, so we got some food. So let's eat some food and then we can just yap. Okay, well, this is really bad. Okay, we got like 8 people watching now. So welcome to all of you poor souls who are here on a day that the markets are so dead. We've been open 10 minutes and I've seen 1,000 contracts go through. How bad is that? Well, there you go. There's a move. It looks like they can push it down out of our, no, maybe not. I mean, there's 4,000 sitting there. But at least there was some stops on the push down. This is just really crazy. Brandon Smirka yesterday was just as bad. Yeah, but I actually made 5 ticks yesterday. I'm sitting here like, how did I do that? But it was like a really good trend. It was totally my kind of action. It was like exactly the sort of move that I like to see. This thing is a little odd. A thing I find interesting there is that we actually ticked down, but the cumulative delta says that it was mostly buying. How does that work? How did it get that? Because this was 18. I guess there was 1,000. There was 800 sold and 600 sold. So I guess that's 14, and then there was 17 up. Is that much? Really? Only 700 contracts? I don't know. It's kind of weird. Kind of fishy. And the E-mini, let's see, what's the E-mini doing? E-mini was really range bound yesterday too. But it is opening lower. I don't know. I guess they are really interested in seeing what this inflation data is going to be. But if I just look at the inflation data, Forex Factory, let's look at this. Okay. Let's pull the inflation data over. Okay. So tomorrow we have PPI. So here we can do like a little chart. So they're expecting 0.2. Previously we got 0.3. So they're almost always expect 0.2. Look at the graph. The expectations are usually pretty, you know, set. And ever since I've been watching it, the only time that I saw a significant difference was this one right here. It was this one. When they got 0.3, they were expecting 0.3 and they got 0.1, right? It was in November. And then the past couple of them, they've just been nothing. They've actually been below expectations, right? This is a number where you're like 1 or 2 percentage points off. It's a big deal. But given that they're expecting 0.2, I mean, just don't see here. So that's PPI. And let's look at CPI. CPI can be a little bit more wild. This time we're expecting 0? Oh, no, we're expecting 0.3. Seems pretty hard to see how many times it's been 0.3. So like the problem I see here is market's really quiet. I'm assuming it's for the CPI news. Oh, there's also a bond auction today or tomorrow. That doesn't help. I did not realize that. And then the 30 years on Thursday. Auction week 2, huh? That's interesting. But this happens, and then what if nothing happens? You know what I mean? What if the numbers just come in line with expectations? Then what are they going to do? Seems a little, yeah, I don't know. Okay, so this is interesting. We need to do that later. We tick down, and the volume, the level 2 actually followed it. They actually are putting up 5,000. Curious. And I'm seeing 500 go through here. And there was a good bid here, but it gave up. So I think that they might tick through it. And then the question is, what are they going to do in 19? We don't really have a significant risk reward here, do we? And considering how slow it's been, pretty hard to take a trade here. They really came down in the 5-year. Look at that. On those, the 5-year, they're still a few ticks away. Well, they could definitely do it. I wouldn't be trading it because it's so slow, but I'm going to bet that you could get at least one tick out of this right here. Yeah, a couple of people have already been like, "Yep, I'm going back to sleep." Well, would you look at that? They ticked it back up. I didn't put much on it though. You can see the change in the delta there. It's gonna be Iceberg City. Oh yeah, so somebody else in Discord also mentioned the JOLTS jobs openings, but it is pretty small news. In fact, I usually don't even see a poll for that piece of news. And it's more than 90 minutes away, so... I still think that you have a pretty good probability getting filled in 19.5. But beyond that, and it's going to be hard to get filled. So pretty good probability is probably still like 55%. Would not recommend trading here, folks. Tell you what, Bitcoin is pretty slow too. Are there any big orders in here? Oh, there are a couple of big orders in here. I think the sellers still outnumbering them. Got these sixes in here. They're making it a slow and steady recovery. Okay, well there you have it. It did tick down, so you could have gotten that one tick there. Pretty sure you would have gotten filled on both sides too. Now, that they've come out, I've seen 500 touch 19. So here again, I'm not necessarily seeing the exhaustion, you know. Now, the bottom of this is going to be like 18 halves to 18. And you can see there's the volume down there looking to catch it. And big icebergs. So I think you're actually seeing mild volume here. It's just coming in spurts. It's still pretty bad volume, but we definitely had better volume yesterday. It was a pretty good move up that we had. Okay, well, there was a big iceberg there at 19. I'm just gonna say L8. Let's say liquidity on the bid at 8. Maybe that's a better way of putting it down than what we've been doing. So some of the things that I look at have followed through here. Excuse me. So we could have taken it from here to here. So we could have gotten 2 ticks off of that. And I'm actually still seeing here, a decent amount of volume willing to hit 18.5 and a pretty decent amount of iceberging at 19. So I think we could tick down again. Getting kind of interesting. Hmm. So, one thing I'm noticing here, I can't really see it in ZN. You know what? We need like, first of all, we don't need ADX on this chart. 30-minute chart. Can we add cumulative delta? No. Oh, I don't have tick replay on that one. How is it getting the volume bars without tick replay? Well, that's probably for the best. What we really need to do is we need to change this one and to have it go back to loading like 10 days worth of data. I think that would be, yes. Okay. So now that I can zoom out here, I'm noticing something here, which is that move down we had in cumulative delta was actually significant. Okay, so now what I am seeing is we ticked down to 17.5, 87 traded there. We have ticked back up. We are now iceberging at 18. Really big iceberg here. That may have been a exhaustion signal like what we've been looking for. So let's wait for it to tick through first. So the big thing is since there's still short volume coming in, they're not exhausted yet. But it's kind of more like the more volume they're absorbing here on the bid, the more likely that the sellers are to tire themselves out. They are like right there on the edge, so if they fall off past 17.5. Yep. Lean David saying, we're talking about Bitcoin here. He was saying it was really hard to not FOMO buy into 10K, but he's done this enough times to say to not buy into the hype and to just be patient. Yeah, so maybe you guys, probably most of you guys missed this, but at the beginning I was pointing out that yeah, I share my indicator with my dad, and he's always sending me news stories that contradict what my my thing says, what my indicator says. And then I said to him today, it's like, have you noticed how the news stories always contradict what the indicator says, but so far the indicator has always been right? I don't think it's a coincidence. So they make it really hard to trade the way that we're doing it. Okay, 119 at 17.5. Big offer. I think that they might actually tick through this one as well now. Yeah, got trusted data, not the Yahoos on MSNBC. Yeah, or CNBC. Yeah. It's like The man is especially CNBC. Sometimes I really wonder, like, how is it just that some there's some whale out there, and they consult with this whale, and the whale says those things, or like the whale like coming to them and like placing the story and saying like, hey, you know, cryptocurrency is looking really good right now, or is it? And I think the last one probably the most likely is it just the function of the market that they really do believe that it's that good and they just are always wrong because they're on the extreme there like that. Okay, well there's a tick up in ZF. The other two, okay, tick up in ZN and tick up in CB. Not a huge bid. I'd say we're still auction direction down. I'm still not seeing like the exhaustion because the sell volume is still coming through. Okay, there was a hit right there that did not go through. Pushed through it. 86 traded, 17 half. ZB bid at low of day looks weak. Very poor low, high probability going through. Away it goes. Bid. No volume yet. No volume into 17 half. Oh, there's one contract went through. Okay, now what's with this chart is not. If I change this chart to be like 10 days, then the ADX doesn't work. What's with that? Okay, so the indicator, not the indicator, the ADX is now saying, confirming the trend rather, we already knew about. Not nearly as high as the trend yesterday though. Don't know if that means that this could have some room to go. We're already through most of the areas that I would have been like seen as stops, like this 18. Now that we're through 18, now the next place that I see on the chart is like 13 half. It's just volume's just still coming. Well, I have seen this before. like a Tuesday and it's really quiet and it starts out really slow and then all of a sudden it turns into a trend day. I've definitely seen that before on multiple occasions. And they always do it on like the slowest, most boring of days to catch everybody off guard. And now a 9K. And still continuation. Well, now I'm feeling all FOMO. So it's now been a good 8 ticks that we've sat and watched this go. Hmm. Hmm. Well, and I'm still seeing enough hitting that bid for it to keep going. I don't know, guys. I don't think overall, I don't think that the volume has been that strong. Just like big icebergs through the whole way. But for them to push through that many icebergs and that many levels is pretty crazy. So now you kind of have to wonder how much delta, how much further the delta can go from here. Now, on the other hand, I've just been sitting here because we know that today is slow day, poor range, big icebergs just happened to go through. I think that sure we could have taken 8 ticks out of this, but I think that the probability on this was way too risky, and it still seems really risky to me here, even this spot. Like I want to take it for a continuation, but I mean. How violently can this thing come back on you? You know? Well, we have seen you move up in the E-mini that corresponds with this, so I don't know what that means. Mm-hmm. What's going on, Bitmain? Oh. We're making an Antminer Z9. This one is Equihash. I really want to get a miner like an ASIC miner that could mine Bitcoin Cash. Now that sounds crazy, but like if I could accumulate Bitcoin Cash down at the lows by mining it, I think it could be. I think it could turn out well. Okay, so now they're actually hitting that 16.5 fairly aggressively. I mean that's the most aggressive hit on the offers that we've seen yet. And it's not necessarily a if you're looking for a reversal, it's not necessarily a good thing. That could just become more volume that would sweep us down to 120. Hmm. Hmm. Well, some pressure for sure. Okay, so now they really are hitting that hard. Hmm. Just switch. I do like yeah, we haven't run this yet today, have we? Yeah, Zcash is Zec, right? Well, for a while there in January, it looked really good. And we got this move, and then ever since then, it hasn't been looking as great, has it? So. Yeah, it's sick. I mean, that's almost 7K now at 16.5. I mean, they've traded nines. This whole area is just massive volume up in here. Sixteen half. 13,000. Nope, I did not go short. Well. How many of you guys, if at the start of the session I told you that we were going to see a 14K iceberg in the 10-year Treasury, would have believed me?
Block sell.
Holy shit. Okay, so the 10-year Treasury has quietly pushed down 8 ticks through huge icebergs. There was a big 14K iceberg that hit at 16.5, and then somebody sold everything that there was being bid at 16 for 9,000 contracts. And all of this is happening like just before the equities open. You don't know how many of these. Yeah. Makes sense. I would really like to get into an ASIC miner, but I don't know if now is the right time for me. I'm really hoping that when we get down into my sell prices, that some new ASIC miners are going to come online, and by that point, everybody has given up on Bitcoin, and they'll be really cheap. Because I remember this one guy, like last year, I went to Open West Conference in Utah. It's like an open source developer conference, and talked to some big guys, and there's this Bitcoin guys, and there's this one guy that he had the ASIC miners, like I think it was like the S3 or the S5 or something like that, and it was already defunct. Like it didn't make money. It wasn't profitable anymore. But he said that he made his money back on it in a week. And then he bought a lot of it. He got a lot of Bitcoin, and then it went up to 20K. And assuming that he had held all of that, which it sounds like he did, although I'm sure he probably didn't get out at 20K, but that was hundreds of thousands of dollars, So, but I kind of feel like that for what Bitmain is selling them for right now, I don't know if it's worth it or not. I would have to be able to do a more specific calculation to convince myself to spend that much. Okay, let's see. I still don't want to trade it. Bit the E-mini is looking like a monster, though. I think we're gonna have to pull that up. So if the trade is, oh, this is a good idea. Okay, so if the trade is that they're buying the E-mini, then we could maybe buy equities here if they give us a safer entry here. Now 7K at 15.
Block sell.
Wow. Okay. So here we are. Okay. Nope. Okay, so it didn't, that wasn't it. Do I have it on the right one? Okay, I do. Seems like a good spot for bottom fishing. Well, I think I want to buy it somewhere around 26.65. Okay. Okay. And then let's put the stop at minus 100. So if we're right, then what I think I would see is a little bit of a bubble up, and then it'll break out up at the top here, 26.67, and it'll really run in the E-mini. Okay, so they're getting some sweep sells, but holding. Feel a little intense here, even though this is just a sim trade.
Block sell.
Okay, so treasuries are still selling it here. Holy crap, now that's a 10K, and now it's 10K on both sides. What the fuck? Wow. I literally have never seen anything even remotely close to this. Yeah. The thing though is that come on. The thing though is that now we are starting to get volume, both buying and selling here at 16 in the treasuries, and it's just massive. But that seller is definitely more insistent. I mean, that seller is like hitting bids, like huge bids. Okay. Okay. Had a hard time getting there above that 25 in the E-mini, but it's slowly getting there. I don't know if they're going to be able to push through this volume here or not. Okay. So there's the high, and they're trying to push them off of the high. It looks like they're going to break a new high. Come on. There you go. Okay. They're not quite taking off yet. Okay. It's a little bit better. Okay. $26.68. That is 1,000. there now. Okay, E-mini ticked, or sorry, ZN ticked down again. Okay, now they're starting to trying to hit 20, 25. Also having trouble. Okay. We held on too long. And that 1,000 was where we wanted to get out at. And okay, well, that was a... Ooh, why is that there? That's not what we want at all. Crap. Did you see what happened there? It had set my stop down and it triggered me into that stop down there. In like the worst spot, how unlucky can you get? Well, it's a sim account and we were just messing with the E-mini, but... So the theory was there that Treasuries were making a move to related to the E-mini. Clearly don't understand this instrument very well yet. Okay. Because I'm putting all of, okay, there you go. I'm putting all of my stuff in like exactly the wrong places. In fact, how bad was that? That was probably like 200 there. 125. Okay. Okay, so the theory is that they were selling the treasuries to hedge something in the E-mini. That may still be the case, but at least here off of the open, that buy, it gave up really quickly. So now we are seeing the iceberg here. So I do think we could buy it here. So I don't know why. I should just get rid of this. Yeah. Okay. Good deal. You can see that the treasuries are moving too, so this does appear to be E-mini related. Yeah, that's a good question, Tucker. I know that it's not, the 3% is like way below where we're at, right? 3% was back to like 119.08 or somewhere around there. So I'm not quite sure why this particular price seems to be so significant. Negative 2.972. So that stuff doesn't seem to explain it, does it? Not seeing the long volume come into the E-mini here yet. Oh, Tucker, there's definitely a symbol that you can look up for most data providers to tell us what the yield is, and John Bottomley told it to us a couple weeks back, and now I've already forgotten what it was, and I didn't look it up at the time. I feel so dumb that I forgot about that. You see, when it comes down several steps, then you started to see the volume come into the treasuries. And they're struggling to get it just above this spot right here. In fact, they're at, that's actually was pretty negative right there. Oh, good deal. They survived it. Okay. So there's the spot again. I seem to be having trouble getting past. So maybe that's probably more like where we should have gotten in. Oh, that's no good. Yeah. think it's headed back to 19s. I feel like so much volume traded there at 16 that I wouldn't really want to be playing like a pullback, you know? Okay, well, we suck at the E-mini, and I think that pretty much killed that trade. Let's see if we can find that symbol. So there's 30-year. TXN or TYX. TYX. So there's TYX. TYX. So TYN. Oh, it is in there. TNX. Mine isn't showing the 10-year. TNX. It just doesn't show up. Actually does show a little bit of support here when you look at the yield on a daily chart. Hmm. So I'm going to try this E-mini thing one more time, but this time we're going to look for the bubble. Oh, we did get a bubble there, didn't we? Was not paying attention. Okay, so they're going to trade it. Okay. Okay. Sweep by. Nope, that did not work either. Well, that 8 is maybe a little bit more promising, but I don't know. This price where we saw a lot of volume go through obviously did not hold, but they weren't able to push much past it either. And treasuries are coming back down. In fact, some significant pulling in volume down right there. So we got an okay buy there, and it come back pretty quickly on us. But there's more buying delta in this particular. I don't want to call it a pivot, but in this particular run or set than there has been in the past ones. So this may be a little bit better of a possible reversal area in the E-mini. I'm hoping. I'm just kind of reading through it. Obviously, I don't have like a great edge in ES yet. We're still kind of learning it. But I feel like even though I don't plan on really trading this live, I feel like we really need to understand it because movement in the E-mini sure has messed us up in treasuries before. Okay, now the delta is getting really quiet in the E-mini. Couple of good buys. That just kind of offers pulling there, though. Here in ZN, they're pulling at 15.5. They really pulled. Tons of volume going through it, though. Man. So how big is this one going to be if they push through it? Okay, so that was the most, that was the biggest buy we've seen in a while in E-mini. Excuse me. Okay. Well, that was a good buy. And now the E-mini is really taking a run. So this is where I gotta be vigilant and see that 1,000 and take it off if it gets there. 500 both sides in E-mini. So what happens when we get 500 both sides in E-mini? Okay. Yeah, Alligator saying it depends on equities. I would tend to agree with that. I think with that one in the E-mini, when we were seeing these 300 and it came down, probably should have taken it off. Now I'm starting to see some signs of buying again if they can pick it up here. So we may ultimately be glad that we kept it. Okay, so there's a 400. Picked up. This didn't quite pull. Didn't quite hit. Okay, that's good. Seems like it's the same order flow signals. It's just like really flaky in the E-mini. And then when it breaks, it just goes really fast, you know? Right here, there is some volume. Okay. So that one was okay. It wasn't like the big run that I was looking for, but it was okay. Now over here, Treasuries. This 10. There was a 14K at 16, right? And now there's 10 at 15. So they are even willing to sell it below 16. So what is going on? There, they did it. KE Mini struggling in this area here. Okay. Okay, so there's your big orders again. We don't want to mess with that. What we decided, right? That birdie's awake. Okay, well now we're getting another pivot in the Treasuries. It's still down. The other thing that is really bothering me right now, well, not bothering me, but like made that trade difficult, was that around 16, so we did get up to 17 half, so it wasn't necessarily like the greatest edge per se, but there at the 16 half, when we were seeing the icebergs, we were also seeing big block sells and like a big seller initiation. So it's not like the signals weren't there. It's just that the situation was so insane that I felt like that it was something that I was better off just watching. So, and playing it in the E-mini, I think, has been okay. Actually, I think that if I'd been a little better at understanding where the spots are in the E-mini, I would have probably could have made some money off of it. But I don't know. Could have still gotten a couple of ticks here in the E-mini and felt good, you know? So okay, so now the E-mini has come back down significantly. Oh, and look, here's that stupid order again. Why is it doing that? I don't have a strategy set for it, so this DOM is just putting that order in there by itself. Maybe it's from a long time ago, I don't know. Well, now we're in counter trend period. A little wary of the pattern I'm seeing in the E-mini at the moment. Where's the neckline? Like 60. Good morning. Japan has successfully developed 12 nanometer chips for ASICs. Ugh. Oh yeah, we totally. So all of that stuff was happening. We didn't even look at the JOLTS number. When did that occur? Only just recently. We come back down. Okay. So the JOLTS was 6.55. Okay, so now I'm seeing here in ES this potential head and shoulders that I was seeing is not playing out.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm not too sure about this one, so I'm not going to click into it because I want to start trying to take this e-mini thing a little bit more seriously. But this might be a buy right here in the e-mini. Yeah, let's give Boost the regulars roll. Those pictures. Bum, bum, ba-dum. Oh yeah, but it's a good point. I know, right?
Block cell.
Yeah. It was right here, 18.5. Yeah, it was. I feel like, yeah, you could always just hit it in on a hunch and risk 2 or 3 steamroller days. Usually don't back up on you. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you're listening, but I mean, that's exactly what I'm thinking. It's like, if we come back to this chart first, let's look at this chart first, okay? So I said like 18 half is like the bottom of the range, right? So that's when I was like, well, I'm not, I don't really think that we could take it here. And then when we look at this tick chart here, so here is the spot. Here's the 18 half. 18. There's 18 half. Then it ticked 18, and they touched 17 half too, and lots of volume in here, right? Like, look at this. There was like an 8K there, and then when we come over here, oh, by the way, where's Bitcoin's slightly negative again. If we expand this one, okay. Okay, so the big sells didn't come in until 16. So I think that these ones were probably just a confirmation much later. So I guess those ones don't necessarily matter. But I feel like seeing that much volume, like right at the bottom of the range and stuff, and it coming down, really anywhere in here that we were still seeing people hitting the bid, I think we probably could have taken, right? And then you could have taken 18 half and I don't know about going for the bottom. So I think that if you took the 18 half, that it would have gotten out at the 160 when we had all of the huge volume. Okay, so we get out there. Now there's this 17 half. That was like a reversal. So that's like it didn't touch 18. So I don't know if that's right. Oh, no, that's right there. Okay, so there's the pullback. We didn't really get much delta out of it. So that one as well, you could have taken for a continuation. So did we have signals, and should we have gone short? For sure, absolutely. But it's like, man, when you have an overnight range like that, you really want to mess with that, because the probability is that at 18 half it was going to come back around. So I don't think there's any shame in not trading. I mean, I guess the counter to all this is that there's no shame in not taking a trade, right? Because your powder's dry, and we still have some good opportunity later this week. And, you know, they was definitely a high risk trade, though. And while we were doing that, the E-mini did actually finally find its way a little bit higher. In fact, there was a little bubble right there that we could have taken. But I don't want to take any more trades. I think I could probably get this yes thing to be profitable. Oh, look, there's one right there you get out. Maybe 500 doesn't necessarily seem to be a big deal, and I have noticed when you get it on both sides that it could do just about anything. Yeah, there you go. Well, there's that high. So that was the move that I wanted to catch. Okay, well, so we didn't take any. If this was live, we didn't take any trades. We did put some trades in the E-mini. I'm not like counting those because they are like experiments. And we caught a good one and we caught a bad one. So and there was one that could have been good, but we didn't take a profit on it fast enough. It really seems like when we get these, like if we'd been long here in the E-mini, I think you have to be getting out here. I think you might have to be getting out here. But I do think that you probably should have a move back down to like 26.66. Mess around there, and then they could maybe take off, or they might just blow right through this. But yeah. And then in Bitcoin, if we look here, Bitcoin still continues to like make slow and steady recovery, but the delta continues to be pretty flat, and not all that impressive. Nor are we seeing big, huge buys or sells in here. 10 or 20s are okay, but definitely not like the 50s. So I think that Bitcoin could probably come back a little bit so that they're set up again for tomorrow night. Okay, well, we posted everything. I don't see like any questions or anything. Thanks for watching, guys. It was definitely an interesting day, wasn't it? I want to say more. I guess I just feel kind of like left out. Oh, can I show you guys one more thing? One more thing. This ADX is so great. Because we can literally come in here and we can say, hey, look, it says we're in a trend. It's okay for you to trade it now. I like that. I don't know about putting the line at 25 though. I'm wondering how does it determine displacement lines lots? Oh, these ones, they don't even show up, do they? Oh, 75. Oh, here it is right here, value. So I actually think that 15 to 20 seems to be a little bit better of a number to base it off of, right? Now we're in a trend, and you could maybe even do 15, but that 15 you start to get these sorts of things. It gets a little sketch. So let's try 20. And basically what it says to us is that now the move is over, the trend is over, and we have to pull in our targets. Pretty cool. I like it. I think that this has really helped with one of the things we've had a problem with. So, of course, it's a lagging indicator, of course. So it wouldn't have told you that you need to sell here. But problem isn't necessarily seeing these. It's seeing when it's time to take it off. Or when it's, you know, or when we've had some trending and I think that it's going to take another step lower. I think the ADX there is telling you that the opportunity is diminishing. So, good stuff. All right, I am just talking to talk now, so I will see you guys tomorrow.